Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm here with a request from my buddy Tony Talent, who's been sending me a bunch of great thumbnails. And this is a review of something WWE put out called WWE Chronicle. How Samoa Joe proved WWE wrong. Now, I want to really clear something up. Some people have thought that I hate wrestling now, and I don't. Well, I'm not a fan anymore. That's really not. I am a fan of wrestling, but ever since they announced it coming to the channel, when the channel came to fruition, they had too many irons in the fire, and their focus left a lot from the programs they have on TV and the pay-per-views, their main stuff, and they have too many irons in the fire to like the network, and trying to get as many people subscribed to the network as possible, and their focus is left from the pay-per-views and the main product, and it's just the quality is not as good as it used to be in WWE as right now, anyways. And I just stopped watching. It just eventually phased out after Dad passed away. Like a year or so after Dad, just my attention for WWE just slipped away. And that happened. I know that happened between '93 and '98. Then with the Attitude Era through the Monday Night Wars, WWE is better than ever. They need to have something like that so they can get really, really interested. I mean, there has to be something to really get me interested in this. And Tony sent me this really great documentary. Because I am still fascinated with the wrestlers. You know what I mean? I've been a fan of wrestling since '76. Up through the '80s and stuff when it really, really blew up with Hulk Hogan and stuff. And this is like WWE Chronicle, how Samoa Joe proved WWE wrong. And I remember first hearing about Samoa Joe and Tony Town made a great thumbnail for this, by the way, in TNA. And he was definitely a rising star, and he became really big in the company. And his next transition would go to WWE, but he started off in NXT first. And that was a big... I know Tony did a video about Samoa Joe coming back or something like that on his other channel. I don't know what happened to it. That did really well. It got over 2,000 views overnight, I think. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Tony would know. Like I said, I don't think he has that channel anymore. Wrestling Talent. And, and this the Chronicle talks about when he got hurt. He tore his plantar's muscle in his foot, which sounds incredibly painful. When you can't walk, when you have pain in your feet and you can't walk, that's when things get real, especially for an athlete performer. And it forced him to miss the second WrestleMania. And they talk about a short period of time. They talk about that. They said that Hunter, when they first met, Hunter said, I don't know how much they want to push the guy that's in their late 30s. And actually, the smartest guy in the room is Hunter, because he married into the family. He was with China for a little bit, and then, much to her chagrin, may she rest in peace, China really fell on hard times. She had a rough life. I remember reading her biography. Hunter got together with Stephanie, and then they got married, and he married in the family. And he's like one of the main guys behind the scenes. He has been for a while. And they talk about, I lost track. They saw Hunter Joe, Samoa Joe. And wrestling's always been good for the Samoan people, too. If you remember the Wild Samoans from the 80s. And High Chief Maivia. And also, they've been having the wrestlers. Even from the 50s and 60s, Samoans have always been in wrestling. Rikishi, The Rock, of course. And then, Samoa Joe and a whole bunch of other people. And he talks about his family life. His family, for like 3 generations, ran like a Polynesian dance show. Very theatrical and stuff like that. Maybe that's where he got some of his flair for performing too. Someone had to rub off on him because he didn't want to do that. He wanted to pursue something different. He was talking about being in jiu-jitsu studio, and also them sharing some of the studio for training for pro wrestling. And the guy said, maybe you should try this, maybe you might like it. And he kind of gravitated toward it, and he's in WWE now after all these years. And they talk about just his progression to the pay-per-views and like where it leaves off with SummerSlam coming up. And I really enjoyed the show. I thought it was very interesting because the wrestlers are still fascinating to me. And I liked it when they're talking real. There's a few parts. I mean, they had like the program and stuff like that, which is different. There was a few parts where he was talking where you felt like he was just trying to hype up the promotion. But when they were talking honest exchanges like between him and Road Dogg and Big Show and stuff like that was different. I still think Road Dogg was in the Army at the same time I was. I think in Fort Bragg. I might have met him as a fellow soldier, I think. It had to have been. I mean, I can't confirm it, but boy, he looked awful familiar, this one guy I knew. That was there temporarily, then gets sent to Saudi Arabia. Or sent to Iraq. But I really like the show. I give it an 8 out of 10. I want to thank Tony for letting me know about the show. And, it's been a while since I've done like in-depth thing about wrestling. But I mean, like I said, I'm still a fan of wrestling, but the product just isn't very good right now. I mean, there'd probably be a time when it gets really good and I'll get back into it again. But for right now, might be about, I might be on and off doing some wrestling. I mean, I still do like if they make a movie or something like that. Or supporting the wrestling and stuff, but boy, they're so busy now. I don't know if they have the time to do anything else now, So I hope you like this review, everybody. Until next time, everybody, please, take care, my legion.